the song in the end credits. Tonight's mystery movie or secret movie at Cinemark and AMC was Shelby Oaks. And I don't have an organized list of notes, so I'm going to try to be as concise and brief as I can be. So as you know, Chris Stuckmann decided to make a movie. It's something he had been wanting to do ever since he was a kid. And his first film, Shelby Oaks, has just come out. It was, in the beginning, in large part, a fan-funded film, and it broke records, I think, and it got the attention of bigger companies, like production companies, and Neon got involved, and Mike Flanagan did as well. So this was a big deal for Chris. And I have to say that overall, I was pretty impressed with the way the story was put together. Now, it was based on some, I don't know, like YouTube sort of, oh gosh, what's the word? YouTube sort of like fake mystery series or story or whatever that was made called Shelby Oaks, and he expanded on it. I don't know anything about what it was based on. Hold on a minute. Come here, Chib. Oh, that's Tifa. Come on. There you go. Okay. Oh my goodness. As I was saying, I don't know anything about the original source material this is based on, so I had nothing to compare it to. Just went into it knowing it's a horror movie. Chris Stuckmann made it. My friends Annie and Aaron worked on the music in the end credits. That was my moment at the end. Oh, it's a beautiful song, you guys. Beautiful, beautiful. So it was cool to hear that. I got a little picture of their name in the credits. Aaron and Chris are actually friends. So that was a neat connection to be aware of while I was watching the movie. So as I was saying, I was impressed with how he put it together. I thought that the cinematography was very good. I liked how some shots were framed. I liked the way things were colored. And it went in a little bit of a direction I wasn't expecting. And by that, I mean, initially it starts off being, like one of those documentary styles, and I thought that was the way it was going to be the entire movie, but that part of it pretty much goes away once the intro credits roll, and it takes a little bit before the intro credits roll, and then after that it transitions to your typical style of movie. It was kind of cool also to see some people involved in the news footage part of the beginning. Spooky Astronauts, who's another YouTuber, has this little bit part in there. It was just interesting to see all the different things that came together. I'm looking forward to the Blu-ray of it, and I hope that there's going to be a bit of behind the scenes material that will be included. Now, as a backer of Shelby Oaks, I have access to videos that they put out while it was being filmed and during post-production and then afterwards and all that. But if that's the kind of stuff that they include in the Blu-ray, that'd be kind of cool just to have it all right there in one location. Now, because it's a mystery movie, this wasn't everybody's cup of tea, and some people did leave. There were a couple people that left about 30 minutes in, and then another girl left almost an hour in. I mean, the movie was close to being done when she left, but I don't know. The film, I thought it was listed as being an hour and 40 something minutes, but as far as from the start to the beginning part of the end credits, it was not. The film started without trailers, surprisingly, because they always have trailers at the mystery movies I've gone to, but this time they didn't. I'm not complaining. The film started at 7:06 and it ended, and by ended, I mean the end credits started to roll at 8:25. Credits were maybe 10 minutes-ish, because I hung around to listen to Aaron and Annie's song. So it's not a very long film, but I felt like it was paced pretty well. The basic premise is, it's about these people who were like, I don't know, YouTubers called Paranormal. I can't remember the name of their channel or their show. And they ended up, 3 of them got killed, 1 of them was missing. Nobody ever saw her again. And the story is about the girl who disappeared, her older sister's efforts to find her, find out what happened to her. And like I said, I liked the way it flowed. I also thought the acting was very good, especially by the girl who plays the main character. The guy who plays her husband did a good job. Everyone did a really good job. And I've already mentioned the other stuff I liked: the lighting, the color palette, the cinematography, the pacing. I thought the editing was pretty good as well. And it was pretty creepy in some parts. It didn't need to show you a lot of, like, let's say, this scary thing that was behind what was going on. You don't really need to see that very much to feel the effectiveness of the creep factor that was going on. And so I thought that was also pulled off very well. This is a low budget film, but it doesn't really feel like a low budget film. And that's, well, granted, okay, he probably got a little bit, once production companies started paying attention, I think he got some more money. But what I'm saying is this is not a huge blockbustery type of movie as far as the amount of money that went into it. It was done very well for a movie on the budget that it was, and it looks nice. Having said that, I did have some issues with it. It was not enough to make me hate this film, and one of the issues I have with it, it's not the film's fault. This is a me thing. The subject matter, it's not really my favorite type of horror. Where this thing ends up going to, it's just not something that clicks very well with me. But that, like I said, is not the film's fault. So it's a little hard to call it a con, however, because it does involve how I felt about the overall story. A little bit maybe, but take that with a grain of salt. Some other things that I had issues with was stuff that delved into tropey territory. Like, why is this woman going off to scary places in the middle of the night? Why? Granted, my expectation about what was going to happen when she went off was subverted, you could say, in some ways. But still, why would you do that? Why would anybody do that? That kind of annoys me about any sort of horror movie, that people go into very scary and dark places by themselves, outside, deep in the woods, whatever. What are you doing? Anyway, and then also doing silly things like putting down a weapon when you don't know if you might end up needing it later, because you already know you're in a situation where some shady stuff is happening and you might need to be able to protect yourself. However, that particular moment, another example where expectation was subverted because something didn't happen the way I thought maybe it would. So those are cons/complaints-ish, because it didn't necessarily follow the pattern that I thought it was going to follow when these things happened, like they always do in horror movies, but also because it was a little tropey, some of the stuff that was going on. But that's about really the extent of the cons I can say about this film. If this genre of horror that Shelby Oaks is something that is right up your alley, you'll probably enjoy it. There were people on this side of me at the end that were saying that they rated it a solid B. I think that's a good first effort for Chris. I'm curious to see what audiences will think about it, and curious to see what's going to happen with his filmmaking career. I think that he's demonstrated in Shelby Oaks the ability to be able to direct a decently made film, and that's something I can give him kudos for. Absolutely. Anyway, at this point, I don't have anything else to say for now about Shelby Oaks. It is coming out this weekend. If you guys get a chance to go check it out, let me know what you think about Chris Stuckmann's first film. Kind of cool. YouTuber. He's not the first YouTuber to have made a pretty decent horror film. The brothers who did Talk to Me did a great job. So it's exciting. I mean, it's cool times to be a horror movie fan. All right, you guys, that's it for now. Bye. I can't see.